So ever since I upgraded with a new SSD and reformat Windows, I've been troubling with this thing for the last year and so. And after watching the challenge from LTT about switching to Linux on a daily driver, I decided to just reformat my old Lenovo into Pop OS and see what happens. First thing first, what is Pop OS? So Pop OS is actually a custom flavor Ubuntu maintained by System 76, which is a company that build, test, and sell premium Linux computers. So Pop OS is sort of like Ubuntu but a little bit more polished and a little bit more restrictive on that. So the installation is pretty easy. Just go to the website, download the ISO, get something like Rufus or Balanda Etcher to flash it on the USB drive, plug it in, boot it up, click next until you actually reach the part where they ask you to restart the computer, and you're done. So even an old machine like mine, the whole process only takes about 10 minutes for the installation, and after restarting, the OS is ready to go with most of the commonly used applications like LibreOffice and Firefox. And that's important because as compared to Windows, installing software in Linux is actually very different. So in Linux, software is typically installed through a centralized system, and in Pop OS, it's actually done through the Pop Shop, where you can one-click install most of the necessary software listed in there. However, if you need certain version that's not in the Pop Shop, you can install something like a PPA. So you need to do that if you need the latest version of R. And PPA actually stands for Personal Package Archive. It's kind of a way of installing a program from an external independent source that is not inside Pop Shop. So in the terminal, just type in this and key in your password, and you should actually put the PPA in your system, and then you can actually install R 4.1.3 with this command right here. So for other software like RStudio, you actually have to go to the website and download a DEB package. Same thing with Windows, download DB, double click it and click next until the software is being installed. So in R, actually when you want to compile and download a certain package, you have to actually install the OpenSSL library and CMake. Just run this command and just to make sure that it doesn't have any problem downloading the software and as well as compiling the software in R. So for Python and Visual Studio, I can actually just install everything through Pop Shop and everything just run accordingly, at least according to my use case. Okay, so something amazing about Pop OS as compared to Windows, the search is amazing. It just works. Whatever you search, it will just give you what you want, and instead of actually just throwing you a Bing result into like Explorer and stuff like that. So for certain people, I think you want to install geom_tweak inside Pop OS, where you can get a minimize and maximize button back. And you also get my favorite hot corners, which has heavily helped me so much in switching applications from one another and from one desktop to another. One of the most important things for bioinformatics is the native app actually just runs without all the WSL hassle. So let me give you an example. I've been running Cell Ranger through WSL for last year. And in Windows, you have to actually open up Ubuntu, tunnel in, actually attach the Ubuntu again as a network drive. Kind of difficult. Here, you go to the Read10x website, download the tarball, unzip the tarball, and just unzip the tarball into a folder, go to the folder, open right click, and then open it in terminal. Then go to the terminal and then type this thing in to actually change the executable as executable, otherwise the permission wouldn't allow you to do so, and then you can just go ahead and run the test with this command right here. So everything for me takes less than like 10 minutes or 5 minutes or so, with the slowest part being the unzipping as well as the downloading. So you can also add Cell Ranger to the path, which actually tells the OS that Cell Ranger, every time you want to run it from this path. But it's not strictly necessary, where you can actually just write it in your code to redirect the OS to this executable every time when you want to run it. So the whole thing much easier compared to WSL and much less problem overall. So everything from now on, actually from the reformat of Linux, the installation and running the Cell Ranger takes about 1.5 hours, and the slowest part being again the downloading of software. And so with that, after 2 weeks of using Linux, there are a few complaints I want to say that I'm a little bit worried about. to convert people over to Linux. First of all, your game wouldn't work. Epic Store doesn't work on Linux, and most of the game in Steam doesn't work natively. You actually have to run through something like emulation, like Protons and Lutris, if I'm not wrong. And I'm just not gonna go through the hassle. The second thing is I couldn't get my NVIDIA drivers to work. There's a way for you to change it. There's actually an option in the menu, but no matter how many times I try to change it, it doesn't work. And so far, it has not been. I've been running integrated graphics until now. So the last one is actually just a Linux program in general, where you have to install your software through a terminal and give control to the terminal for whatever it wants to do. A little bit scary, even though I've been quite experienced with the process. I'm still a little bit freaked out every time I have to give like complete control my computer to any kind of code that I just copy paste in. So in summary, would I keep Pop OS? Yes, definitely, and I would recommend people to try it out. But that is because I actually have a separate machine that runs Windows for all my games, my video editing, and any emergencies where I need just one program to run on. For people that only have a single laptop where you work, I would suggest to just dual boot it with either Ubuntu, Mint, or Pop OS, so that in case you need any emergency, you can always go back to your Windows and try to run it there. But most importantly, keeping the Windows will actually keep your license active, because if you reformat Windows and you reformat back, even though you own the machine and you own the license key, they might actually not just ask you to buy another one, which is kind of annoying, which is what happens with me. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching, but do leave a comment if you have any tips and tricks for people that are new to Linux. What should I do and what do you want to see me do? That'll be great. Okay, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.